Hello beautiful warriors, I'm Kuchira and this is the yogance friendly prep to arm balancing. Yes, that's a mouthful to say, but so worth it because arm balances are my favorite part of a yoga practice. Arm balances leave no room for bad form or lack of awareness. They will check you right away and you will just fall to the floor. They show you where you are in your practice. They also bring your practice to the next level once you get a good hang of how they work, how to shift your weight, how to push away from the floor, how to use the technical part of the yoga practice to your advantage. They open up a whole creative space to start playing within your movement practice as well. So there's a lot of advantages to learning arm balancing. Learning arm balances through a yogance is actually a great way to set yourself up for success, because a lot of arm balances use weight shifting in order to get in and out of them. If you're already flowing within a routine, within movement, then you start to understand that concept better. Your body starts to learn the body awareness of shifting and momentum, and I find it really helpful when learning arm balances. So the format of yogance really suits us for this particular practice. If you're a beginner and you're still not too comfortable or familiar with arm balancing, this is also a great way to introduce it into your practice because the momentum of moving in and out through the sequence will help you start to understand the weight shifting, as I mentioned before. If you're proficient in arm balancing, this should be really fun and challenging for you as well, because to move in and out of an arm balance during a dance sequence totally changes the game. It's all about acquiring techniques to learn smooth transitions in and out of movements. And arm balancing makes that much more challenging. So wherever you are in your arm balancing practice, I think that we're all gonna have a lot of fun and learn a lot of useful tools today. So let's just get started. I'll remind you guys to please come into this yogance warmed up, especially your wrists, because we're gonna be using them a whole lot today. Now we're gonna start at the top of the mat with our feet hip distance apart or together, however you prefer. And I always like to start my yogances with something freestyle and fluid and connected to the earth. So that's exactly how we're going to start. We're going to pretend that we're a tree and our feet are rooted into the earth and there's a lot of wind and we're kind of swaying and swooshing around. I want this to start opening up the breath in the body and the connection to the body and the floor, which is going to be really essentially important here as we start to do arm balances, because arm balances are really close to the floor and they require a beautiful relationship between the body and the earth. So a push into the earth, a massaging of the earth, an understanding of how your body is related to the earth, and also the space between your body and the earth. So this little opening sequence is a great way to start that connection. Digging the feet into the floor, starting to massage through the soles of the feet, opening the toes nice and wide, even rocking back and forth or around as the top of your tree sways and the breath opens up. So it's really that simple. So maybe take 3 big breaths to kind of freestyle around in the space, moving through the neck, moving through the face and through the fingertips and through the toes, even rising up on the toes or maybe swooshing back and forth. Really, it can look like whatever your swaying tree in the wind wants to look like. But most importantly, keep the breath open and the focus of the connection between you and the floor. Got it? Good. All right, so swaying tree, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. From there, you're gonna inhale, rise up, maybe come up high on the balls of the feet, keeping all the energy up and in towards the pubis, squeezing the pubis towards the back, dropping the shoulders down, lifting root to rise through the crown of the head, and of course, the connection to the earth, and then in the exhale, your tree is just gonna melt all the way into a forward fold. Make sure that the pubis is still engaged. There's a little hollow space in the lower belly. The neck is relaxed. The voice comes out easily. Throat chakra is open. Feet are connected. Maybe a slight bend in the knees to keep a softness. A big exhale. Go ahead and place your fingers on the floor, your hands or your fingertips, or maybe even your hands on your shins or right above your thighs, but not pushing back on your knees. Wherever you are, find a beautiful flat back. As you do that, lift the lower belly in a little bit more. Draw the shoulder blades down, extend through the neck. And then once again, fold again. All of this while exploring those in-between movements. So the difference with yogance rather to yoga is that we don't just hit postures, but we move and we explore within the transitional spaces of posture to posture. So there's a runway of tons of different movement and information that you can explore from one pose to the next. Let's just do all that again, because although this might seem simplistic, it's actually not. There's a lot going on, as you can see. We inhale the arms up, sway in the wind. 1, grow 2. On the 3, rise up high on the toes, and then melt your tree to a forward fold. Good, inhale, flat back. Still moving and swaying in the breeze. Exhale, back into your fold. Now, we're exploring the right side here. So the right leg is going to go ahead and cut back all the way to the edge of your mat. The front leg, the left leg, is going to do the same thing a little bit further. But you're going to keep the right foot where it is, and it's going to come out into the outer edge of the foot. Now, my shoulders are still square. My hands are still exactly where they were before. Fingers spread wide, thumbs facing each other. And then I'm going to do this little beautiful twist. So I'm kind of like pushing my knees together towards the right side, but keeping everything planted on the floor. And I can start to feel the left side body take a beautiful stretch. And again, like I said, moving through this, kind of feeling those little kinks and playing with how you're pushing into your body. But it should be this wonderful side body stretch. Simultaneously, you're already working because you're pushing away from the floor and you're activating the body. Now we're going to unwind, take the left foot out and cross it to the right side of your body. You almost want to place it outside or further than the right hand. Keep everything where it was before. Just move that foot. Step the right foot to meet the left. From there, go ahead and bend your knees, and you're going to find yourself in a prep for Parsva a side crow or a side crane, however you want to call it. You're twisted towards the left. This is my right arm pushing into my left upper thigh, right by my knee. Now, if you're a beginner, or even if you're advanced, often this is as far as I go, I'm going to find that same push and feel the twist in my lower right side of my back. I'm also playing with balance here. I'm squeezing my heels together. I'm drawing my shoulders down. I'm trying to keep my knees in the same line. And as I push my right elbow into my left thigh, I can feel a nice stretch in my lower back. Beautiful. Go ahead and bring your hands back to center. And for now, just rise up. So we opened up both sides of the body simply by pushing into the body and then pushing away simultaneously. So you're getting this great twisty kind of stretch. Let's go to the left side and explore all that once again. So we're going to inhale the arms up. Take your breath and sway your tree. When you're ready, rise up on the balls of feet. Keep the energy inwards. Don't let those heels spay out. Squeeze and then melt your tree with a big sounding exhale. Maybe take another breath as you prep. Your body's still getting warm. You could take that flat back. Wherever you are, you might be here. And then go ahead and fold once again. Left side, so now the left leg starts this whole thing. Make sure that your fingers are planted into the floor, fingertips are pushing down into the floor, and you're pushing out of your shoulder girdle. So you're creating tons of space between you and the floor. Really, really, really important for arm balances. Left leg crosses back. Right leg crosses behind that one, and there you are, planting your feet. The left outer edge of my foot is on the floor. My right heel is pushing down. I'm pushing my hands into the floor, and I'm twisting towards my left, finding a nice stretch on the right side of my body. Yes, moving around a little bit there, taking your breaths. I'm going to unwind it, taking my back leg front, crossing it as far as I can to the left side of my mat. So on the outside of my left hand, my right leg is going to meet my left. I'm going to just bend into it, keeping my hands where I am, and there I am prepped for the side crow. Left elbow, what is that? It's an elbow, is pushing into the outer leg, right leg, and I'm finding this beautiful twist. You can even look back to get a little deeper. I'm pushing my heels together, squeezing everything in, lower belly is nice and tight. Beautiful. Ooh, that feels great. From there, if you want to take it to the next step and actually find the arm balance, you're already ready for it. So keep the elbow tucked nice and tight. See how far down you can get it. Go ahead and plant the palms down and just bend your elbows in. Maybe this is just the next step. It's feeling this. This is a massive twist, you guys. So this is already a lot, right? So from here, if you want, you can just start playing, just trying to pick up your feet into the floor. Go ahead and use your elbows as a little tabletop for your legs. Yeah, and look forward as if you have a triangle. Hand, head, head. You want to look forward, right in front of you. Boop. Good. As you do that, start to notice the weight shifting has to go a little bit more forward. It's like there's a beautiful chocolate chip cookie awaiting you right here, a little bit further than you want it to be. That's where you want to go. Then draw the shoulders down. See if you can find a little extension. If that feels good, you can extend both legs and then come right down. But really, just popping in and out of it, I find most useful because it keeps the weight out of my wrists, which I find that if I stay too long, even with a push, even in activation, they can get irritated quite a bit. But really, this is all you need. Just understanding the engagement and the weight shift, having that little floating action, then coming back down. That is more than plenty and actually quite beautiful and incredible. Good. From there, go ahead, unwind. I'd like to show you how this little section dances, especially with the breath. Yeah, so I wanted to share that because as you can see, what we're introducing here is all of this movement, but within these postures, I want you to get in and out of them, start to understand how the feet pivot through the floor, how you push away from the floor, how you transfer your weight, and then all the little movements and breaths in between, because this is how we're going to continue to discover these arm balances during this sequence. So go ahead and pause the video, discover this on your own, put it into that body memory, play a bit, and then come back and we will continue. Part 2 of this yogance, we're going to introduce Ekapada Kundiasana 2, which is my favorite arm balancing pose. So we just finished on the right side, that Parsvapakasana, the twisted crow. I'm looking towards my left. I have my right elbow digging into my left lower thigh. And I'm going to continue to pivot, unwind to my right side. Keep pivoting, stay up on the tippy toes as you unwind to the right. When your legs are crossed and you're looking at the back of the mat, go ahead and sit that booty down. You can use your hands to help you. And then extend the feet upwards in a supported boat pose. Or not, you can let go or have a straddle or maybe catch the back of the thighs. So wherever you are, it's all works. In fact, you can hit every single one of the poses and make it a dance. That's lovely too. Once you finish your boat dance, you're going to take the left leg over the right in Gobukasana. So this is, I believe it's called cow face pose. It's a beautiful hip opener. If this is not accessible to you, just go find a seated twist with the left over the right, and you can even take another twist. A lot of twists here because a lot of arm balances have twists in them. Good. From there, you're going to keep going towards your right side. So this whole time, we've been spinning towards the right. Left leg is going to plant into the floor as I'm looking once again to the front of my back mat. The right leg is going to shoot out. And there I am in a left-legged high lunge. I'm going to rise up with my chest. Again, pushing the ball of the left foot into the floor. That links it up into my pubis. Bend the back knee a little bit to get this whole pelvic floor area nice and clean. Bend into that front leg. Keep the left hip back so the hips are square. You'll find a nice opening in the right hip flexor. And you're just gonna play in this high lunge for a bit. Dancing and moving around. Just like we did when we were standing and our trees were swaying in the wind. So same concept, different shape. Set the hands down. So what we're gonna do, let's start more basic first, is split our front foot with our two hands. Bench that front leg. You can set the back knee down if you need a little bit of support to help you through this transition. You're gonna take this left hand, tuck it underneath, and then tuck the left shoulder underneath that front leg, the left leg. Go ahead and just bend into this a little bit. Now this is already super deep. So if this is all that you got, man, this is plenty. This can be as far as you go. And then from here, the next transition would be to push into the hands, keep the back knee on the floor to help you, and then undo the legs into all fours. So this is our most basic way to get into this Ekapada Kundayasana 2 transition. I love this because it allows you enough support to really understand how this kind of winds and moves. If you want to complicate this a little bit more, by all means, we totally can. Left leg front, left arm and shoulder tuck under that front leg. Play a little bit there. Really dig into that back foot and then push out of the shoulders. Pick up the front leg and set it back into plank. That plank will take you into a down dog. Next level would be to do that same thing. Tuck that shoulder under, but this time extend the left leg. So you're in like this floating elevated split. And then take that back leg all the way back into three-legged down dog. And set it down. And then finally, you can do the fly. Now the fly, again, pretend that chocolate chip cookie is a little bit more in front of you than you would want. You're gonna shift the weight forward. That's the key. But remember, every time you shift the weight forward, it puts more pressure into the wrist, so it really needs you to engage, push away from the floor, create that beautiful relationship that I was talking about between you and the floor, which is that push away, that lift through the pubis, the engagement through the shoulders, and the length through the neck. Extend, bending into the elbows, picking up the back leg, and then the three-legged down dog. You're gonna, again, use your elbows to create a tabletop for you to rest on, okay? Let me see if I can do it in this leg so you can see the other side of that. Extend, bend into it like you're gonna do a push-up, literally a push-up. Take the weight forward, and then three-legged down dog. So it's the same effect as you would be here, but with the fancy legs. So I would say this, if you don't yet hold a solid chaturanga, which is a low push-up, comfortably, you're probably not ready to do this full posture. So I would take the steps, 1, 2, 3, until you can fly. All right, let's have a look at all of this on the left side. We finished in Bakasana on the left. So now we're gonna unwind ourselves. So we're gonna turn towards the left, find that boat pose play. Yes, the right over the left, Gomukhasana, hip stretch, or maybe a seated twist, depending on where you are. Take a moment to play a little bit there. Keep going towards the same direction, which in this case, left side is to the left. Plant the right foot down on the floor, shoot the left foot back. Here we are, you guys, our high lunge on the right side. We play a bit. Okay, and now we're gonna prep for our arm balance. EPK 2, if you wanna get all fancy with it. You're gonna tuck the right shoulder underneath the front leg, the right leg. Come up high in that front toe. I really like to do that. Set that knee down. Just find that a bit. Number 1. Number 2, you can pick it up. Number 3, take it back either on all fours or into a down dog or into a three-legged down dog. So lots of options for you. I'm sure something will work. And wherever we are, we all finish in down dog. For now, we're just gonna walk to the front of the mat And we're gonna rise all the way up. Yes. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you this sequence number 2, so you can kind of see how it flows with the breath like we did the first time around, and then you'll try it on your own. Here we go. So one thing we definitely don't want to do when we're exploring arm balances is to rush. I also want to show this with you in a simpler version without actually seeing the whole arm balance through, so the beginner version, so you can see how that flows a bit. Let's do the other side. Breath stays alive. Take my time. I hit all the steps I need in between. Again, never be scared to explore the transitions. Take your time, breathe, stretch, stay aware. This would be the simpler version. Feels great too. I love this. Yes, and although it's simpler, it's definitely not easy. It all takes a lot of awareness and exploration and time. So as you pause this video and go play with this section, do exactly that. Take your time to see what you find in this little mini yogans. And we'll come back and put 1 and 2 together. Good job, you guys. Let's put sections 1 and 2 together. I'm going to do a more basic version on the right side, a little bit more advanced on the left, and just work where you're at. Let's go ahead to the front of the mat. We're going to do the right side first. Let's just take one breath before we move the tree in the wind. Good, here we go. Inhale, root to rise, and then sway in the wind for 2 breaths. Relax through the back of the neck, through the back of the throat. And inhale and rise up on the toes. And then melt the tree into the forward fold. Find the flat back. Right side, so right leg steps back. Left leg crosses behind that one. We find that beautiful little twist. Good, we unwind the back leg. The right leg follows. And then we twist towards the left. Go ahead and find the side crow, or go ahead and play with the weight shifting wherever you are. Good. Untwist your Parsvabhakasana all the way to the right. Go ahead and find the boat pose wherever you may be. Left leg crosses over the right, maybe a seated twist, maybe Gomukhasana. We're looking towards the left shoulder. Continue to unwind yourself towards the right as the left foot plants down low. Right leg shoots back. We rise up into a high lunge. We play in the high lunge a bit. If you need to set that back knee down, you totally can. Maybe you're in a low lunge. So lots of options to explore. Good, you guys. Let's get into that Ekapada Kundayasana. Left arm and shoulder scoop under the front leg. Left leg lifts up. You find the push, maybe the extension. Bring it back into a down dog, a 3-legged down dog, or all fours. Left leg falls towards the floor if it's up. Find that down dog. Just take a breath. Keep those ribs in. Push that belly in. Push out of the shoulders. Remember the connection and relationship between you and the floor as you walk towards your hands. Bend your knees slightly and roll up. Vertebrae by vertebrae. What a beautiful little sequence. That's awesome. Let's take the left side, shall we? And I'll show a little bit more advanced version. Good. Moving your wrists around. Getting into the body once again. Let's move our trees. 2 breaths into the rise. Go ahead and let that throat chakra open up as you melt. Find your flat back. Always try something new, why not? I like to press my hands into my thighs as I kind of pull my belly in, find a stretch in my lower back, and then fold. Left side, so left leg cuts first, right leg follows. I find that twist. We can call this down dog twist. Good, unwind it. Go ahead and take your feet on the outside of the left hand, bend, and then play with your side pro, maybe extend both legs. Shh. Unwind that baby to the left. Find your boat right over the left. And then go Bukasana, hip opener. Take a moment. Shh. I want to be very aware of our bodies and what they're saying, what they need. Let the ego soften. Keep twisting towards the left side as we plant that right foot. Shoot that left leg back. Rise up. Right-legged high lunge. Maybe you want to hit a little warrior 2. Why not? Good, you guys. Let's get into that EPK. Take that right shoulder underneath that right leg. Ekapada Kundayasana your way. Wherever you are. Good. Extend that right leg up. 3-legged down dog. Undo yourself. Maybe you want to play fancy and cut a little bit. So you come to the front of the mat. Roll up nice and slow. Beautiful. A lot going on there, a lot to explore. As you continue to explore, really stay focused. Don't let the ego get to you. And if you're feeling frustrated, again, go back to the basics. It's all good work. All right. Pause, play, come back, and we'll continue learning more. Section number 3, we're going to play with transitioning through an arm balance in a sense. It's a funky little thing that I often do because I find that it really helps that push and understanding of how to shift the weight through a moving posture. Can a posture be moving? Yes, it can. So we are going to start where we left off, which was the 3-legged down dog or the down dog, wherever you are. We're on the right side, but we finished with the left leg up. So left leg comes up. Good. Left toes are going to tap the back of the left wrist. You can bend that back knee a little bit if you have to, or you can keep it straight. From there, you're going to notice that you got to use that left oblique like crazy, which means that you have to keep the weight even between the back foot and the hands because you don't want too much weight into the wrist, so really even out the weight, distribute it so the pelvic floor is the center of the body. Push away from the floor, out of the shoulder girdles as everything else lifts, because if not, you won't have enough room to tap those toes behind that left wrist. Now, if that doesn't make it, go as far as you can, and then go ahead and shift the weight, so bring the right foot to meet the left, feet hip distance apart. If it does tap, go ahead and lock it in so that it doesn't move from the back of the wrist, and then jump the right foot forward. Keeping the left foot elevated and hooked onto the back of the wrist. Tons of core happening there. It's quite amazing. Let's just try that movement on the other side before we move on. So left side, we would have finished with the right leg up, the 3-legged down dog. Take a big breath as you tap the right toes on the back of the right wrist. Keep everything elevated and then bring it forward. From there, you're just going to grab the elevated foot, the foot that was tapping, the right foot, and you're going to squeeze lower belly as it all rises up. Whoo, that's right. So a simpler version, because this is very difficult, would be I tap as far as I can, I set my foot down, I bring the back foot in. From there, I grab underneath the sole of my right foot in this case, and then I see if I can come up in one piece. Or maybe I'm here, or maybe I'm just here, or maybe I come up as high as I can and then just find this passe position to rest in. It all works. Going back to the original side, which was the right side. Let's keep going. Well, section 3, I believe we're on, right? So left leg was up. We're in a left-legged, 3-legged down dog. tap them toes. Left toes tap on the back of the wrist. I jump forward with my right leg. I grab my left foot with my left hand, and here I am in a standing, balanced position. I extend my leg forward, keeping my left hip back. Make sure that bottom leg is straight. If it's not, maybe you want to grab it like this. Maybe you don't want to grab it at all. Maybe it needs to be lower. Maybe the foot is actually rested on the floor. It all works as long as you're activated. Then you're going to take the leg to the side, and you're going to find a turned out passe, which means that the left toes are just going to go ahead and tap the inside of the standing knee. I'm going to let this left leg, the passe leg, swing and do a figure 8. This is all working on balance. And then I'm going to rotate my body to the side of the mat till my feet are turned out in first position. First position is a position that we find in ballet, where the heels are together, the toes are apart. Make sure you're not stressing the meniscus or the inside of your knees too much. So if it's just a little turnout, that works too. And then here we are. This whole thing, you want to make sure that your mountain pose Tadasana position is solid. That means that the whole pelvic floor is engaged, the breath is open, the ribs are tucked in, right? And everything is activated. We don't want to be doing any of this sinking into our lower backs. Let's just try this all nice and slow on the left side. Left side finds the right leg up, three-legged down dog. Take an inhale and the exhale, tap the right toes to the back of the right wrist. Go ahead and jump forward. Grab the floating foot, which is the right foot. Extend forward, extend side. Go ahead and turn out that passe, right leg. And then figure 8, the right leg, forward and back a couple times. Maybe it's on the floor. And then turn to the side of the mat. Turn towards your right side until you're in first position. Boop, boop. Right. So if I were going to do this a little bit simpler or a little bit more basic, if it's still a little bit hard for me, this is kind of what it would look like. I would tap as much as I can. Maybe it's just to there. Step the leg forward. Maybe I grab my knee towards my chest. I take it side. I passe. I do my figure 8 on the floor. And then I pivot to the side of my mat in first position. Once again to the left, a little bit more advanced version. Tap the right foot to the back of the wrist. Jump forward, elevated. Rise up, finding the balance to the front. To the side. Side passe. Adjust. Make sure that everything is nice and clean. Figure 8, maybe figure 8 high, like a fan kick. Pivot a quarter turn to my right. And find the first position. Really working on maintaining a solid mountain pose, good structure, good foundation, and a lot of balance. Go ahead and pause and play with that section. We'll come back and put it all together. Putting sections 1, 2, and 3 together before we attack the final part of this yogance. Let's go to the top of our mats, right side. Let's just take a breath. Beautiful. Inhale, arms up. Find the breeze. Fold. You got flat back. This should start feeling good at this point. Your body should start knowing this. Cross the right back. Left follows. Take that little down dog twist. Unwind. Take the left leg all the way to the right side. Meet it with the other leg, side crow, or just the twist. Remember, you can also just take the twist. Unwind it into boat pose towards the right side. Cross the left, over the right. Find your hip opener, and then continue the flow to the right. High lunge on the left side. Flow a little bit. Shh. Really distributing the weight evenly between both feet. Ekapada, Kundayasana 2, whichever version you're taking. Tap the top toes to the back of the left wrist. Jump the right leg forward, and then find extension front. Squeeze that pubis, find extension side with or without hands, and then turned out passe. Go ahead and play with that free leg, the left leg, figure 8, maybe fan kick, quarter turn to the side of the mat, into the first position. That's the whole sequence. Now, on the next side, let's try and flow and dance through it a little bit more. Oh. So, allowing the postures to kind of flow into the next. So we can't tell what's one posture and what's the next. It just all feels like one seamless dance. Inhale, arms up. Sway in the wind. When you're ready, go ahead and fold right into the flat back. Cross the left and the right. Down dog twist. Go ahead and unwind it. Yes. And then find the crow. Into the boat. Into the high lunge. Playing a little bit through that right-legged high lunge. Tucking the right shoulder under the front leg. Ekapada Kundiyasana. Extend it. Tap them toes and then jump it forward right away. Lift up front to the side. Turn it out. Figure 8. Into the first position plie. Whew. Yes, this is a very difficult yoga, so if you're finding it difficult, also feel free to do section by section. So maybe take one section for one day, come back tomorrow and take the second section. You'll notice that your body really retains a lot of memory. So a lot of times just giving yourself 24 hours or 48 hours in between when you first learned it will make it feel a lot easier in the body. But we're still not done. We got section number 4. So go ahead and pause the video, you know the deal. Go ahead and review everything we've done. Try to get it as smooth as possible and we'll come back and learn the final section. Fourth and final section of this yogance, friendly prep to arm balancing, introduces Pincha Mayurasana, so Pincha, forearm handstand. Before we even get into finishing up the sequence, let's just talk about that posture all in itself, so that when we get there it feels a little bit more familiar. So we're going to start with our legs nice and wide in an open position. Go ahead and bend the knees if you have to, and then you're going to place your elbows down on the floor. You can also go ahead and start this on all fours if you like. In the sequence we do begin it in that position, but this works as well. And you can always put yourself there if you need it. You're going to put your arms in an 11. The thumbs are going to be facing each other. And the fingers are going to be forward. Now this is going to be your base. So you want to equally distribute the weight from the palms to the elbows. You don't want it to tilt you one way or the other. The other goal is to always have everything right over the shoulders, the hips over the shoulders, everything in that same line. So it's not balancing in a weird banana shape or in a pike shape. You really want to tuck everything in, again, finding mountain pose, but in a different shape. So from here, you're going to go ahead and kind of just play. This would be my suggestion number 1, is just to play to get the hips over the shoulders. Boom. That's it, and just bouncing forward. And when we do the sequence, this is enough. If you find that little moment of flow, yay! And if you need the wall to help you do this so that you can feel a little bit more secure, just in case you pop back, that's fine too. But what we're trying to achieve is the push away from the floor, out of the shoulder girdles, as my weight evenly distributes through my forearms, and I'm finding my hips over my shoulders, which for most people is the scariest part because you're afraid to flip over. So having the wall there, or couch, or mattress even, might help reduce the fear aspect of all of this. So just that little bounce is enough. Again, maybe you want to do the next step, which is just to bend one leg, bend the other, and see if you can find a little float there. By bending the leg, it just makes it a little bit easier, I guess, for some people. We're all different, we all have different bodies, but that might help you in your progress. And then, obviously, the next step would be to just be able to tuck the toes in, and then the final one would be to extend the legs upwards. Even look through your arms, and find a nice forearm handstand. So those are the steps. Again, a little bounce, tuck in one leg, tuck in the other, and tuck in both, and then a full extension wherever you are. But if it just is that forward fold with the forearms down, that's good enough for me too. Okay, let's learn this fourth part. So if you recall, we finished in that first position. We're on the right side. We're going to allow this first position to go into a grand plie, Just bending all the way through the knees, elevator all the way down, really tucking in that pelvic floor, pressing into the soles of the feet, but also feeling the rise through the spine, nice long spine. Once we get all the way down into this very low turned out squat, we're going to place our hands on the floor. We're on the right side, so we're going to hop onto our right leg and extend the left leg long. Yes, half straddle, okay? Here, go ahead and play a little bit. You can take a side bend. You can shift your weight back and forth. Just opening up through the side straddle position. You can use your hands or no hands for the next transition. You're going to press into the right leg as the pubis lifts upwards, and you're going to rise into a wide standing position. If you need to jump and get your feet a little bit closer, cool with me. From there, you're going to fold forward, and this is where we're going to find the pincha as we practiced before. You're going to take whatever steps you want. Maybe it's even bouncing from right to left. That's a good one too. And from there, rise up off the elbows into like this wide flat back. Rise up on the toes. Turn to the back of the mat towards the left side. So left leg is front, right leg is back, and we're currently doing the right side, just to keep that very clear. Bring that left hip back. Find this beautiful pyramid pose. Take a breather. Bend into that left knee just a touch. Take a wider stance. Find another high lunge. Clasp the hands behind you. I like to bend my back knee as I do this. Lift the chest and find the humble warrior. Bend on the inside of the front leg. Let the head drop. Good. Keep the hands clasped as you stay bent with the knees and step the back foot in to this chair pose. Let the head and the arms hang behind you. Now bring the arms into your lower back. Place them palm side upwards on your lower back, bending through the knees. Keep the arms there. And then just rise up. From here, you're in a perfect place to clasp the hands, fold the palms towards each other, and then extend the arms backwards, lift the heart. Little tiny back bend. Rolling back up into a standing position. And there we are. That's the very end of the fourth part and the whole sequence. Let's try the left side. Finish with our feet turned out in first position. We took the grand plate all the way down to the floor, extending into the half straddle, left side. So right leg straightens and shoots out, left leg is bent. And take a moment to feel the side straddle. Lifting the chest up, pressing into the left foot as I come into a wide stance, and I immediately fold. Good. Reposition yourself on the mat, get comfortable, and go ahead and play with your pincha. Once you've explored getting that booty over, go ahead and rise up on the toes, come up off your elbows, and then shift or pivot into a right-legged pyramid pose. If you need to bend the front knee a little bit, that is perfectly fine with me. Then shoot that left leg back a little bit more, bend into the right leg, come up into that high lunge, clasp the hands behind you, lift the chest, and then go ahead and fold on the inside of that front leg, humble warrior. Step that back foot in as the hands clasp, roll, the palms shoot upwards, folding into chair pose, taking a moment there, and rising all the way up as the hands clasp and come together, lifting the heart, straightening the arms, and then rising back up. Absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to show you this one time with the breath and a little bit more fluid so you can get a feeling of how this flows before you try it on your own. Really, the transitions matter. They matter. Nice and slow. Finding the rise before the fall. Taking a moment to prep every single position. Delicate, light. Shh. And there we are, the final part of the yogance. Go ahead and pause, and when we come back, we're going to put it all together. All right, friendly prep for arm balancing. Let's put it all together. Right side first, front of the mat, you know the deal. Let's just take a breath together. Good. Arms up, go ahead and sway through the breeze. Rise up and fold when you're ready. Find that flat back. Cross right and then left. Take that down dog twist. Untwist to find the side crow. Good. Unwind into boat pose. Seated twist or Gomukhasana. Left high lunge and play. Ekapada Kundayasana. To the left. Three-legged down dog. Left leg up. Left toes tap. Right foot comes up. Extend through the left leg front. And then side. Find the turned out passe. Beautiful. Figure 8. Quarter turn towards my left. Plie. Grand plie. Shoot it out. Right side. Take a moment in this half side straddle. Push into the right foot and rise. Find the fold into pincha. Take a couple breaths there. Rise up on the toes. Turn it to your left. Fold into pyramid pose. Then widen it up into high lunge, into humble warrior. Step that back foot in. Open up the palms. Sit into chair a little bit lower. Rise up. Clasp the hands. Lift the heart. On the other side, left side, take a breath. Inhale. Exhale. Sway in the breeze. Rise up nice and tall to melt and flat back. Starting to find the flow in all of this. Left and then right. Twisted. Down dog. Unwind. Side crow. Unwind to the left. Bow pose. And then keep it going in the same direction to find the right legged high lunge. Play a little bit. Ekapada Kundayasana to the right. Three-legged down dog, right leg up. Them toes tap. Step the left foot in. Rise up, extend the right leg forward and side. And then turned out passe. Swivel it. Turn it out. First position, plie. Bring it all the way down. Shoot it out to the left side straddle. Push into the left foot and fold. Pincha. Rise up on the toes and shift it to the right. Get into that humble. Step that back foot in. Good. Go ahead and rise up and find the lift of the heart. And back to standing. Very difficult, but very good work. I want you to keep exploring this on your own. Find smoother transitions. Start to find all those little foundational tidbits that you do to really help lift and float and arm balance. And I thank you for coming to practice with me. Now I'm going to show you my version of this sequence. Bedazzled.